Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 5 of the Haemo-Goblin League. I'm joined by returning guests Matt and Thomas,
Hello.
Hello.
and special first-time guest David.
Hello, and I didn't know I was special.
Special because it's your first time on here, and other reasons probably as well.
Oh, thanks. I think.
So we
You always have a
are.
special place in my heart, David.
So we're a third of the way through the season now. After quite a long round 1 and 2. So we're going to have a look back at the games we've done. We're going to make some predictions for the rounds 6 to 9, which will be the games where everyone in Division 1 is playing everyone in Division 2 in that time frame. And just have a general chat with the people that are here about how their games have gone. So we were originally going to have a lot of people. Well, we were originally going to have one person from Division 2, but we managed to fail that. Although Kate might join us halfway through.
Here's hoping.
So, should we start with Division 2 and work our way up and go up from the current positions and work it like that?
Sure.
So, one game behind everyone else, but last in Division 2 so far is Kate. We'll slightly skip over this one, I think, because Kate might join us later. But Kate is played 4, 3 points, no wins so far, so that would be 3 losing bonus points. And is currently in 5th, but is a game behind a couple of the other players and 2 games behind some of the others. So next up we have Tom Pope, who's playing Elizabeth now, having started off with Vampires, so made the switch I think after round 2. Played 4 games as well, so behind everyone else apart from Kate in that league. 5 points with 2 draws, 2 losses. And yeah, I think Matt, you ended up. You're the only one here that's played Tom, although he was using his old team. Tom Pope, that is.
Yeah.
What was your game with him like?
Well, typical Vampires, really. I mean, actually, I think did he score against me? I think he did. Did he score? Was it 3-1?
Yeah, it's 3-1.
Yeah. So I think from memory, I think what happened was I scored 1, then he scored 1, then I scored another in the second half, and then he scored again. But yeah, it's the same sort of thing with Vampires. They sort of reach this kind of critical mass of, not having any thralls left, and then suddenly they start walking off the pitch. Although I would say that, and obviously I think Tom hasn't got Vampires now, and I don't think anyone else has played him as Vampires, but the way he played, he definitely played high risk, high reward, and he did get. He got a lot of it benefited him, especially the first half. He did a lot of crazy. Well, when I looked at
it, going for it. I watched some of that game, and I've never always seen so many going for it for no reason. I'm just like, yeah, I just want to move an extra 2 spaces. I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, I suppose he's basically banking on never rolling ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're going in on Vampires, that's basically your tactic all the time anyway. So why not keep pushing the boat out?
But that happened to be my first win as well. So far in the league, that was the only time I won at that point. I mean, that was only 2 games in, I suppose. But Thomas, you thoroughly destroyed me in the first game. I didn't even stand a chance. You just walked all over me. I didn't have the ball or anything. I just
it's just standard orcs versus standard humans and standard orcs. I think just win.
Yeah.
At the very beginning.
But it was quite a good game in terms of me versus Tom Pope here. It was quite a good game in terms of me getting I finally got a win in, which was quite nice.
Say finally, it was the second round.
Yeah, I know, but I like to start the season with a win. Not that that's ever happened in the whole history of my playing. I don't think, anyway. It definitely didn't happen last season.
It definitely didn't happen in season 1 as well. I remember that game
Oh
vividly.
yeah. Season 1 is the only one where I haven't made it into the playoffs, and this season is currently looking like I might not make it into the playoffs.
Early to say, but yeah, one thing I think's an interesting point to mention here is that we've had 7 Div 1 v Div 2 games so far, and the Division 2 players haven't won a game yet, which I think is I think it shows that we've got the sort of division structure, at least broadly speaking, right so far.
Yeah.
Be interesting how that's last. Up until round 4, I think this is the only exception. It had always been the Div 1 players winning, but Mike, who's come in very strongly, held me to a draw, and I think all the others have been won by the Division 1 player. Be interesting to see if that continues or if it's just relatively small sample size, but an interesting thing to point out of this.
Certainly Mike's a very strong player. He just got really unlucky in our last match, I think. He's got some good players already as well. That strength 5 Black Orc is certainly scary.
See what?
Yeah.
Oh, needs to be
Black Orc.
Needs to be killed. Needs to be killed. What's going on?
Should we skip to Mike given we're talking about him? Because I had a really close game against him as well. Ended up in a draw with. I had quite a good first half, but I lost most of my players in that half. Sort of did some elf shenanigans to score, and then just had no one left to stop him running in unopposed in the last turn. But yeah, really impressed by him, and he didn't have the strength 5 Black Orc then. Not that it does a particular thing against Wood Elves when they're already smashing them everywhere, but yeah, in a league that's this punchy, that could be really big, and Mike's in pole position for the to be the sole Division 2 representative in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be an Orc team in the playoffs.
Yes.
I expect there to be 2.
Going to be a tough playoffs.
Yeah. Well, there can't physically be 3 unless
Euan's had enough.
Yes, unless my team's dead by then, but I decided to get on it on the Orcs as well. But yeah, very impressive start from Mike. Going next, so, Mike for reference has played 6, 16 points, 3 wins, 2 draws, just the 1 loss, which was to David yesterday, I think it was, in fact. Which might be the best start from a newcomer.
He's got 7 level ups as well. Oh my god.
Yeah, that probably is the best start from a newcomer, I'd say, yeah.
At least at this point in the season, like Thomas came in and won in his first season, which is
what it is,
which I guess is the ultimate thing. But I don't think he had as good a record at this stage. I think he struggled a bit at the start of that season.
Yeah, after I think round 8, I just didn't lose a game.
Yeah,
and it's sort of strong.
Mike, of course, of all our newcomers, has had at least some sort of forewarning or foreknowledge of the league as well. Whereas I think before now, everyone else who's joined has sort of been, I'm joining the league now, and then they just start. Whereas obviously we had a bit of an extended period before this started because the end of the last season sort of got dragged out a bit, and he was already sort of signed up to be in from before that. So obviously he's had some time to kind of think about his tactics as well, which is good.
Going from the newest player to the joint most experienced player in the division, we have James, who's running Skaven again. Played 5, 11 points, 1 win, 3 draws, 1 loss. Although one of the draws was in our was a 3-all sort of forfeit from both sides between Gamma and James to get the round 2 game in. Forfeit is probably the wrong word, but
still struggle to wonder why James picked Skaven because he had such a dreadful time with them last season.
I think it's to prove that he's that he can actually have a chance with them, or maybe it's more about I've got experience with the Skaven now, so if I do it again, I'll do better.
Maybe it's the Stockholm syndrome thing.
He's just a masochist. He just loves it. That's why he plays Blood Bowl.
Isn't that why we all play?
I definitely feel like that now.
But yeah, James with one win over Kate and only one loss so far, which was against David as well.
It was against me, yeah.
So undefeated by Division 2 players, and very much in the mix for the playoffs, and all the promotion fight. I guess be all the promotion fight, but and a big win over Lachlan. Could see him, in fact, top Mike for Division 1, albeit not by any great margin. So that just leaves Gummer. So Gummer, thankfully, got invited a bit late once Andy had to leave. Big thanks for Gummer for stepping in. Has had one win, 2 draws, albeit again one of those was against James as part of the catch up, and 3 losses. Had quite a harsh run starting in his Division 1 game versus Thomas.
He did all right. He did well in that game. It was
Yeah.
actually quite close.
Yeah, I remember watching that and thinking the first half you sort of controlled very nicely, and the second half Gummer was really starting to take control, and then sort of ran out of time, and then you got the sort of turnover, and it sort of ended there. But yeah, so Gummer's win was against Kate in round 4, and on having played 6, he lost to me in the last round again, a pretty close game. He's another one that's in contention for the promotion/playoff spots, and albeit he's a little bit behind the others, but not too far. And this upcoming block of games is going to be really interesting because when you're playing your Division 1 or Division 2 counterpart, those games are almost sort of worth double, because not only do you get your wins and losses, you're also causing your direct rival to have less points as well. Whereas these next rounds, obviously everyone wants to win, but you can't make that sort of big leap over someone.
Yeah, exactly. I'm surprised he's gone Nurgle, but I don't really know the chap. But I don't think anyone's played Nurgle since me in Season 1.
No, it's the first Nurgle since you. I was almost them last season, before going to Vanilla Chaos.
I do like the Nurgle. They're very fun. Very anti pass the ball though.
Yes, that was a problem I encountered when I kept on being like, oh, I just want to do a little pass, and oh no, I'm -3 to pass. I'll think of another plan. But Gummer owns a Nurgle team in real life as well, so I think he wants to get more experience with it as well. But interestingly as well, for Gummer, that Nurgle team is the only team that isn't rated as a tier 1 team. So he's since Tom changed from Vampires, which were tier 3 or tier 4, depending on how many tiers you want to choose.
I think he's about to explode in terms of like how well he's doing, because like literally, I'm looking at his team sheet. Like nearly everyone is one thing away from a level up. Like
Yeah, if he inflicts
player.
Yeah, if he inflicts an injury with like 80% of his team, they level up. So yeah, coming into the home stretch, I think Gummer's going to be a real force to be reckoned with.
Do they have the ability to add players to their team as well if they kill?
Yes.
Yeah, the rotters. Yeah.
Free rotter for every kill,
which is a nice option to have to suddenly get an extra meat bag mid-match. So I think it's guessed the name of one of his players. Yes.
Yes, the name of a lot of his players meat related.
I'm surprised he's only gone for 1 Pestigor though.
Nurgle are expensive, I think, is the thing.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Because he didn't start with the beast either. He's just added that in.
Oh right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get everything you want on a Nurgle team if you want to have the 3 rerolls.
Yeah, that's true.
That's one of the things that made me play Chaos Warriors in the end last season. But moving up to Division 1, where we're stuffed for representation in this podcast. We'll start with, I guess technically they're the lowest despite being exactly tied on touchdowns, points, touchdown difference, and touchdowns conceded, which is David.
Ah, yes, me. Me and my dwarves.
So 2 wins, no draws, 4 losses. Almost there hasn't been a drawn game between the Division 1 players yet, which is interesting.
Yeah.
That is true.
Also, there have been very few that have actually been like 1 point between them for that like loss point. Everyone's been about 2 apart, except for I think maybe the game between me and David.
That's true.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Thomas Lachlan also in the same round 4.
No, certainly. I thought I'd have a stronger start this season. I can tell you that without a shadow of a doubt. Certainly losing a player on my first match against you, Euan, certainly put me back quite a bit. But since round 4? I think it was round 4. Yeah, my match against you, Matt. Things have started to sort of turn around a bit for me.
Yeah, so your first point was in round 4.
Yes, and I've just got my death roller, so things are looking up.
Oh, you actually got a death roller?
I have my death roller
Oh
now.
my god.
It's going to be interesting because the dwarves have been at a strength disadvantage against all the orc teams and even like the Norse teams as well, and arguably against the humans teams in pure strength terms. But that death roller is a hell of a equalizer, hell of a machine. So that's going to be
Certainly going to be fun using him, I think.
yeah. There's
Unless like you're against you and he just runs past you in 2 turns. And it's just like,
Yeah,
okay, cool.
My treeman can't get away from him, and the treeman's outpowered by the death roller, which is not something it's used to having.
The only problem with the death roller is it's a secret weapon, so
Will you
as soon
be
as a touchdown scored, that's it.
Will you be getting any bribes?
I'll have to try and get one, at least.
Yeah, because actually, this is the interesting or really interesting thing that you can plan for when you're a team like this, because you can go for the stadium upgrade where both teams get a free bribe. So a lot of the time, the home or away thing is mostly irrelevant. But actually, it'd be really interesting to see if David's record in his home games is much stronger than his away record.
Absolutely.
Do you have the stadium upgrade?
I'm still level 1 stadium.
Okay.
I've had to spend all my money on getting another lineman and then buying the death roller. And my next plan is get some more rerolls. I'd like to get up to at least 4 on those.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Gotta have a nice cushion of rerolls, I feel.
But moving up next, we've got Matt, who's played 5, 9 points, 2 wins, no draws, 3 losses.
Yeah, I'm not feeling 100% about it so far. I picked humans thinking, I've got a chance here, right? And yeah, some brutal games. As I mentioned, obviously, the first game against you, Thomas, yeah, that was just a walkover. It just crushed me.
Yeah, I think it's because you tried to go hand to hand with the orcs. I think that's what happened that game, if I remember.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't have any dodge, so even though I've got like +1 or +2 movement, depending on the pieces I'm using, on the orcs, as soon as I get sort of tied up, yeah, then I'm reliant on rolling. Okay. And it's just dodgy. Pardon the accidental pun. But yeah, after that, round 2 game against Tom Pope, I mentioned, quite nice because I actually scored a touchdown, so I got some experience on my team. That's where I got my first level up. Then round 3 game against Euan, he proceeded to kill the player who leveled up, which was my catcher, which had block and dodge. That was quite a bloody game, really, because I think I killed one of yours, you, and you killed two of mine.
Yep. You killed one of my guys via fouling as well.
Oh,
But then,
no.
but then I think you in that game you also lost the game because you went to foul someone and left a massive load of space, and your
that
blitzer
was-
got sent off.
Yeah, that was just a massive mistake. I didn't mean to do that at all. I should have done it with a different player. I still would have done the foul, but I wouldn't have done it with the blitzer. That was an error. I was very short on time at the moment I did it as well, and I should have done another thing before I did that. But nevertheless, it definitely cost me the game. But yeah, there were a couple of really close opportunities. Just didn't seem to sort of follow through. Yeah, then the next game I had was against David, and that was tough. It was a tough game. I nearly scored in the first half, and then it was David's drive after that, and then I managed to snatch the ball from him and run away, basically.
It was a very, very close game and lots of fun.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed that one. Yeah.
And you almost got two on me if Hugh
in the
Jairside hadn't failed his going for it.
Yeah, no. In the first half, I only had two to make. And from memory, I think I failed the first one, re-rolled it,
Yeah.
passed that, and did the next one, like stepped onto the next square and immediately fell over on the touchdown line.
Going for it's over the line, 100% failure rate.
Every time.
I don't know why, but yeah. And then my round 5 game was Lachlan. He beat me 3-1, and that was again a game that was so close for so long. At one point we were tied 1-1, and he got 2-1 with this amazing 2-turn touchdown he managed to pull off. And then, in the second half of the game, I just lost the ball immediately, and then he just sort of used up the turns and then scored like right near the end. So I obviously that was more painful for the fact that I lost 1 point when he scored that third touchdown, and he gained 1 point when he scored that third touchdown. So it's like a 2-point swing in the division. And at that point, of course, we were tied. So that was a big deal.
Yeah, I have to say Lachlan's second touchdown in that game might be the best touchdown I've ever seen from a sort of technical level.
Right. Yeah.
Where it was a double frenzy push to move his ball carrier twice, and then free them up so they could dodge away over the line. It was a very impressive move.
I'd like to say that I played it defensively quite well at that point in time, but I don't. I just got because I feel like the second half, especially, I got many armor breaks, but I didn't get any injuries. Whereas in comparison, he got quite a few injuries on my team, and that really didn't help things either. But anyway, I'm looking forward to my game against Kate. I think actually it might be quite close.
Well, that's one of those sort of rivalry games, obviously, where you always feel that there's a little more edge, for lack of a better word, a little more meaning behind it. It's like whenever I play Lachlan.
Yeah. But definitely, Kate definitely plays her best when she plays against me.
As well, she has the moral support from everyone else in the league in that one.
True.
But next up we have Lachlan, who I think was like is a lot of people's like dark horse for the league. So he's played 14 points, 3 wins, 2 losses, no draws. Losses against myself in round 2, which is mostly caused when he fumbled the ball deep in his line and Elves ran up and nabbed it from him. And a loss against it was you, Thomas, wasn't it, in round 4, where I think he couldn't get the sort of physical edge in the Orcs as they do sort of ground him down.
Yeah, that was one of my more interesting games actually, because I found like Orcs are slightly one-dimensional, even though I've been trying to be like slightly runny with them. It's like I had to think a lot more in that game than I did in the other ones.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because you've got all these Orcs and the Dwarf team as well, which are these sort of big, sort of defensive, tough powerhouses, and then you've got Norse, which are theoretically very similar playstyle, but they're actually probably more aggressive and can't take as much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because we were joking about saying his team's advertised as the blockiest team, and yet my dwarves had more block than his. Certainly a fun game though against him because of just so much frenzy as well.
Oh yeah, because you've got two as well, which I never really associate with dwarves, but
So much to think about in terms of pushing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like he pushed so many of my players off the pitch, just by surfing them off. Even though I'd put them like 3 squares in or something, he was just like, right, I can get that guy off. Simple push here, and then off he goes.
Norse can create a real dilemma against you, where if you're not a team that can outmuscle them, or a team that doesn't want to engage into a big punching contest, you kind of want to avoid the middle. But then, I don't want to run down the sides either because of the threat of frenzy, and it can make where you actually want to make your break for it really difficult.
Sidestep.
Sidestep, yes.
Stick everyone right on the edge.
The thing is just like it's not worth teching into that if it's just one player in the whole league.
Yeah, well, there's
That's a
dwarves
problem.
and Norse. So if you're in Division 1 and you're an elf team,
You don't know, maybe
Yeah, I
some,
suppose.
I do have one player with sidestep, but
you might see some orcs with some frenzy. You never know.
I
3 orc teams.
wouldn't be surprised to see some frenzy orcs at some point. To be honest, Mike's strength 5 orc, like frenzy, seems brilliant on them because it's always going to be 2 dice punches,
It's
even if
pretty
you end up in a
scary
bad position.
that orc.
But speaking of orcs, Thomas
Woo!
played 5, 16 points, 4 wins and 1 loss.
Yeah, so it was I've enjoyed the season so far. I was just smacking boys until my game with Euan, where you
still smacked people.
I did. But I played a bit brain dead, not gonna lie, in terms of there were some silly mistakes I made, and I just went, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Let's just let your ward answer like run the whole pitch instead of actually like attacking him."
Oh yeah, you got a bit focused on killing my blitzer, my catcher.
The catcher that never died ever.
Yeah,
That only got like disgusting. Anyway,
only had like 6 punch attempts at him at least.
with all 3 die, and it just didn't do anything.
It's like dodge, push.
But,
I'll take that.
So game against David, very polite. Kept punching each other, nothing happened. Everyone just got pushed around. Game against Nurgle, intense-ish, but came out on top. Game against Lachlan, very interesting. A lot more to think about, and I got some like more injuries in that sense. And then game against Euan, killed a guy, but ultimately came out on bottom.
Yeah.
Who's had the most deaths so far?
Me.
How many have you had?
He's had 5, haven't you?
4. You've had 4.
4 and 2 which would have died apart from apothecaries. I wouldn't be surprised if actually one of my linemen, my mercenary players that have come in have died as well, but I haven't recorded what's happened to them injury wise. But yeah, it was interesting in our game, Tom.
Yeah.
Where your first 3 punches each did a serious injury to a player.
Yeah, that was quite funny. And I was like, yeah, it's like turn 2, and I'm like, I've won this match. Like 4 of his guys are off the field, and then I just straight up got wrecked by you. And I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
got a bit confident there.
Yeah, to be fair, I had a horrendous start, and I just like, okay, I can't play this sensibly. I just have to go for everything.
Yeah, and everything worked.
And everything worked.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Sometimes you're like, cool, I'm just going to rely on dice, and the dice were nice.
Yeah, but I find myself enjoying the non-bashy games more interesting so far, because I guess a lot of the league is bash, so it's
Mm.
like a break from the bash.
I'll let you know when I play against a non-bashy team.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing with orcs, of course, is that you've got like a kind of very straightforward tactic as well, isn't it? You just kind of rinse and repeat that block.
Saying that, I've been enjoying not having cages and just setting up lines.
Yeah.
And actually running with my orcs and like sometimes doing handoffs. Oh,
Yeah, I found this with Chaos last season, and a different league meta as much as anything. But just trying to essentially keep up with teams and being forced in a position where I had to score, and actually being like, these teams do have the ability to score quickly, and just trying to work out how to do that. And Chaos are slightly better at it than Orcs, but not by a noticeable
with
deal.
that little gore guy, where he has beast the board or some beastman.
They just got more players with agility 3, so they give you
That's
more
true.
options.
But yeah, I'm enjoying the league. Excited to make playoffs. Excited to win again. You know.
That's confidence, but it's not undeserved confidence.
No, I think it's gonna be close.
I think it'd be nice to have a new season winner. And at the moment, if I can't get into the playoffs, and neither can, if David can't either, then I'm going to be rooting for Mike. I reckon if he gets into the playoffs.
I think if
Mike has a hell of a thing.
Mike
I thought you were
is a
leaning
mad
towards
team.
Lachlan there, but
I would lean
no,
towards
of course,
Lachlan.
actually, no, Lachlan as well. Yeah, because actually Lachlan, I remember, I think season 2 he was in the playoffs. He was in a fairly good position, and I remember
Lachlan was
past him
really unlucky in season 2.
Oh.
In that that was the season where we were doing. Andy had to drop out, but he didn't. He played the first couple, and we decided to do buys that as draws, and he ended up tied on points and was only slightly behind David on points difference. One of the big differences was that David had played Andy and won very heavily, and that was essentially the difference between the two. And Lachlan never got the chance.
I do shouldn't get guilty for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was the rules. Like everyone agreed on them. And like Lachlan's second half of this season was incredible. He was sort of 5th or 6th at the halfway stage and just had a hell of a run to get to where he did. Not dissimilar from Thomas's in season 3. It was a bit of a surprise. No offense, Matt, when like you beat him in the quarterfinal, I think it was, or the semi-final, I guess.
Yeah.
No, it would have been quarterfinal.
I was quite surprised when I was in the playoffs and I managed to get. Oh, that was my Lizardman team, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then obviously it was me and you in the final there, wasn't it? And that was that the second one you'd won at that point? It was, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, you get to have a little star under whatever your sort of user kind of the name is. You know, like the World Cup, where they've got the stars under the country flag or the symbol. You can.
Well, I think that season I'd wanted to get the trophy. I didn't want to give the trophy to myself, so I waited until we've got season 3 into race. But I'm like, okay, I can get the trophy now and playing Underworlds because I had no intention. Well,
right, yeah.
Didn't think I was going to win it.
But you could win the trophy back right now this season.
I could. That would be.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy if I did that.
You're definitely well in the lead.
Yeah. So I'm 6 games, 25 points, 5 wins, 1 draw, and I think 3 bonus points in there.
Is it just 1? I thought it's plus. There's 2 in it. Oh, there's 1.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You could get 2 bonus points if you lost.
Lost and got 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, which has happened once in a game that you wouldn't have actually got points in, but in the 4-3 Skaven versus Kislev quarterfinal.
Yes, yeah.
I'm not sure we'll see a 4-3 game this season. Looking at the teams,
You
but
never know. You never know.
I guess
You versus Norse, or you versus James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually,
Lizardman could score quickly if they decide to go in the skink route.
Skinks,
But,
yeah. He's got more skinks. He hasn't even got a Croxigal.
Okay.
So just meat for the grinder, really.
But yeah, that's where we're at. shall we make some predictions for the rounds 6 to 9 games?
Absolutely.
As usual, per usual, you don't have to predict on your own games, but if you want to, feel free. Actually, we'll start off in the last round 5 game that hasn't been played as of yet. So Tom Pope versus Kate.
I'm going to say Kate because her team's leveled and Tom's isn't.
Yeah,
And
I agree with.
She's still got the 4 strength 4 compared to his 6, but it doesn't matter because the rest of her team can still beat up all the skinks.
Yeah, exactly. Kill the skinks and she'll win it. Block them off and then take them out.
Get rid of that dirty +1 movement skink. Nothing can be movement 8 in this game. Ugh.
I'm gonna go for Tom Pope actually.
Oh.
Yeah, I reckon. Even though he's relatively new, he's very quick at picking up the basics of games.
He's got the stuff.
So I think it might be a close match. I think certainly going to be a close match, but I think Tom might just win it, just because
he does have a noticeable speed advantage. Kate has been struggling this season, but
I think the skinks will just get it for him. I think.
So keeping with Kate, round 6 we have Matt versus Kate. I think Orcs are slightly favoured, but Kate's had a struggle this season, so I'm gonna say a draw on this one. 1-1 draw.
I'm gonna say Matt on this one. I don't know actually. It depends how well you use your guard, Matt. I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm inclined to say I think it might be a draw here. I think if you look at the history of games with me and Kate, either I've won or it's been a tie. And generally where I've won, it's where Kate's new with her team. By the time we play the second time round, which obviously isn't happening this season, generally we tend to draw. But yeah, this time round there's only one game between us, so maybe I will win it like in past. But I kind of feel like
there's chances for you to get a second game in, but yeah, unlikely.
What you mean if we're both in the playoffs?
Either both playoffs or in the promotion relegation.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah, only one guaranteed game, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, at the moment, it's looking like I will be in the relegation zone. If David and I keep our positions, David will be an automatic relegation, and I'll have to play to keep Division 1 space.
I've got to make sure someone else gets into that spot then.
Yeah, but it's basically just me. It's the two of us.
You know what? I think Kate, if she can get some level ups from her match against Tom, because she's got a lot of players primed to level up, it could go in her favour, I think, very suddenly.
I have noticed that if you have the surname Hutton, you're either bottom or as close to bottom as you can be without being below anyone that's not a Hutton.
Thanks.
You mean that's the current status of the league? Yeah,
just throw that out there.
That is very Oh,
God.
I don't expect that to last, but just an interesting stat that doesn't mean anything.
You elves are going to go down, but you're already so
Everyone's
far
been trying to make them go down. I have had a lot of casualties.
I just don't.
The Orcs Mighty Blow Alliance is coming for his elves. That's what's happening.
I can't even see myself ever catching up to you though. I can't, you're on 25 points and I'm on.
I think what's interesting is that the points difference, because we're allocating more than normal. I think the points difference feels bigger than they are.
Yeah, it feels massive.
But David felt a long way away. No time ago, and it feels like he's caught up an awful lot when he's just won 2 games. And now it's cool if he stays the same sort of thing and beats Lachlan, he'll have the chance to overtake him potentially. So me and Thomas looked again. We were neck and neck quite for a long time, and then I had a big win, and suddenly it's like, oh, if David wins another game and Thomas loses 2 games, then suddenly they could be neck and neck in points.
Yeah,
So it's
but
Yeah.
I mean, at the lowest level, I need to win at least 3 games. We're assuming you do nothing. Let's just say you lose all your games and you don't get within 1 of your opponent. You know, and I have to win 3.
oh yeah, there's certainly a gap between us at the moment. Yeah. So Thomas versus Tom Pope. I think Thomas goes in as quite strong favourites. This is a 2-0, possibly 3-0 in my book.
Oh, that's generous. 3-0 is generous by Orcs.
I think that the speed element is something to be concerned about, but I think, yeah, like with Kate versus Tom Pope, I think the outcome will be similar, if not worse, because Thomas, you're obviously a very good player.
Plan is just to mighty blow all of his skinks. That is the plan.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a slight advantage in that he'll have just faced Orcs, so theoretically,
Yeah,
some skinks
and
will be
it's-
missing.
And it's a team with no level ups as well.
Yeah, certainly
Okay.
I'd say you've got the advantage there.
Maybe he'll get a wizard inducement cash and.
Oh no! I'll just cry.
Fireball, there go your Orcs.
Cool. All
I was-
5 dead.
We did our exhibition match between my season 2 winning Chaos Dwarf team and Tom Clark's season 4 winning Orc team, and as he had the sort of double SP thing, he had a team that was on average faster, stronger, and with more skills. And I'm like, okay, there's a big enough difference here to get a fireball in. Saved it up. I decided to use the lightning bolt one. And I did it to stop his one player that could stop me from scoring for doing it, and of course rolled the 1.
That's how it works.
And from there it was like, oh, I'd have got 2-0 up against Hawks with 6 turns left or something. And I'm like, cool, basically a guaranteed win at that point, and it suddenly became very close, and Tom Clark almost managed to pull it back. But yeah, very good game. But yeah, just the joys of wizards and fireballs.
Yeah. I still feel like, generally speaking, if you buy one, it's quite risky. The cost.
I think a caged fireball is pretty good odds.
Yeah,
No matter what.
Yeah, certainly.
It's better against some teams than others. Like someone like Kemry, who have the cage and will probably have 4 straight 5 guys there, and really struggle to pick up the ball again. It's incredible against Elves or Skaven or something. It's still a very powerful tool to have, but it's not the
Not as
same
good,
weapon.
Yeah.
It's useless against dwarves. Don't think about getting it for dwarves.
So next up, last game of round 6, we've got Lachlan versus James. I back Lachlan.
Yeah, I back Lachlan. James has struggled a bit with this league.
Well, he struggled with Skaven, to be honest.
I think
Yeah.
I think as long as James doesn't make a mistake, then he'll be fine.
I
I normally hear James curse in about turn 2 that he's made a massive mistake, though.
Yeah, so as long as he keeps a cool head, if he's in the right kind of thought process, and he just sort of goes, this is what we're doing, and he doesn't do anything really stupid, then I think he's got it in the bag.
I think Norse are inherently favoured in this one, because I think they're just raw, aggressive power can really overwhelm a Skaven team.
And they're quite. I think it's a really good matchup for Lachlan because he's got speed and power, and the Skaven can't really hit back.
Yeah, he does have a Rat Ogre.
The Rat Ogre's not bad, and also the Blitzers on the Skaven team aren't bad either. They're
brilliant.
Yeah, so I wouldn't undervalue them that much, but I know what you mean. I think they do have a fighting advantage, but then just for the gutter runner being able to just do what it wants. I mean, of course, well within danger of being frenzied off, but
yeah, he has got the +1 movement gutter runner already though.
Yeah,
so 1-turn touchdowns are coming.
Oh jeez,
they're on their way.
Not again.
And that's ironically on Tom Clark, who's normally the slow and steady camp when it comes to touchdowns. I think it's fair to say.
No, I think it's like you say, it's more likely to be Lachlan that will win. I reckon it could go to a draw though, if those gutter runners can get by. Yeah, that's pretty much it, almost. But if there is a team that can probably catch up to them in this, it's probably the Norse.
Yeah,
Do it.
I think a lot of injuries that match for sure.
Yeah.
So round 7, we have Matt versus James. This is going to be a really close one.
I'm going to say James.
I was thinking James might be favoured in this one, actually. Yeah.
I think the gutter runners are just going to go Zoom.
Especially as Matt's team is teched to beat more punchy teams. So I think James has a slight edge in this. I'll go 2 on James.
Mind you, they are both coming off the back end of fighting orcs.
Yeah.
Fighting bashy teams even. Orcs and North. So
yeah, it could be decided.
Could be both well players.
Yeah. Next.
I feel like humans are just so like I don't know. Every time you talk about humans, you're like, they're not good. They don't stand a chance.
I don't like them because I think they're just jack of all trades, and I don't think jack of all trades works in Blood Bowl.
Yeah, that is what they are.
I reckon you could get a few, score a few touchdowns though. I reckon Matt might win it.
Well, I think maybe there are things that I would already do differently from the beginning of the league, in terms of the way I built my team for starters.
Choose orcs.
Yeah. No,
I'm
going to stick with humans. I mean, the reason I picked humans is because I was going to go halflings, and I thought, well, I'll go something sort of mid. But I mean, also, who's going to pick humans ever? They're the most boring.
I was quite tempted by them in last season, but
well, this is the first time they've appeared at all, isn't it?
Yeah, it is
the case for any other team except halflings or ogres. They've not come in. What are the other teams that haven't been here? That's it, I think.
I think that's it, really.
Bretonians showed up briefly.
Yep.
Bretonians showed up for a while. They made it all the way to the end.
Yeah, that was Andy was there for the whole thing.
Yeah.
It is just ogres are the only two that haven't. Oh, an Elven Union. One of those teams is better than the other.
Yeah. So
ogres.
For the novelty of having humans in the league, it's I think worth it. But I definitely won't be playing them again. Let's just say that. Even though we've not completed. You never know. I mean, I could get the right skills and really turn it around. But like you said, I'm kind of down on the speed.
What access to your skills do you get? Just wise, like sort of across the board, is it just mostly general stuff, or?
I think everything except the ogre has access to general, and that includes, I think, the catcher and the thrower. The catcher has access to
dodge, agility.
Yeah, the linemen have access to agility as well, I think. Blitzers have access to strength and normal general, I think. But yeah, that's basically it.
So Thomas versus Kate. I think Thomas's team's in a better spot for the mirror.
Yeah, I think so.
With 2 damage back and only 1 level up, it's not great for Kate's team level wise, I think.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun to watch though, just how bashy it'd be.
it won't be fun to watch because it will literally just be us standing in a line and then just going, oh, that's my turn. Oh, that's your turn.
Come turn 7. Oh, I need to score a touchdown.
Got me versus Tom Pope.
I think you've got it. I reckon you'll get past the lizard.
Oh yeah, you still got people in your team. bought another War Dancer? Yeah, you bought another War Dancer.
I think it all
Yeah,
depends.
I'm back up to 9 players.
Wow! Wow!
I still haven't recovered from my round 2 game against Lachlan.
I think
In fact, the last game I had against Gummer, one of my journeymen got the man of the match. They got the 5 SPP,
Oh,
and I
that's
didn't
great.
have. And you can hard them and get the SPP, but I didn't have enough gold for it, so that's a shame.
I'm gonna say Euan because he's gonna have no skinks left after our match. That's what I'm
that's a
gonna
good point. I was going to say it depends what.
4
combo
L 3
it's
Saurus
like.
is the game then.
say. Oh god.
David versus Gummer. I actually reckon these two are like two
I think
very
it's-
similar playstyles. I put my money slightly on Gummer in this one.
This is gonna be my draw, I think.
Ooh.
Matt?
Yeah, I don't know. I think. I
Oh,
haven't really
David does
seen
have the
enough
Juggernaut
Gummer
now.
Playing, so
The
Oh,
Do have a
Okay.
death roll.
Death Roller,
yeah,
that's the one.
Death Roller.
Ooh, I'm still going to stick with Gummer, but yeah, that is a big.
No, I'm gonna change
thing.
the draw. I'm gonna say because David has a Death Roller. I'm gonna say David.
depends how effectively he uses it in the first or second half, depending when it comes out. I think,
Yeah.
I think David, yeah, I'd give the edge because of Death Roller, also because of the kind of difference in Division 1 and 2, and the fact that I haven't really seen Gummer play it many games.
Fair. Then Lachlan versus Mike, which is a hell of a matchup as well, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give this one to Lachlan. I think Lachlan's quite. He's had he'll be the most experienced person against Orcs, I think, at this particular point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's also got a lot of experience with his team as well.
Yeah. I expect Mike to give it a really good game, and it's one of those ones where, as you could argue a lot with Norse, that a couple of injuries against Norse can really tip the match Orcs' way quite early.
Yeah,
But yeah,
if you look at the last 2 games as well that he'll have played, so he'll have just played against James, and then obviously he's played against me before that. He's not really taken any injuries, so he's coming in strong in any case. But yeah, he could take injuries during the game, like you say. But I think he's in with a good chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with the group. I'm gonna say Lachlan for this one as well.
So as a reminder to anyone listening, the aim for round 7 is to try and get all the games on next Thursday the 3rd. That is, if people can make it. If people can't, then arrange it on their own time. That's just a suggestion because the halfway games are always fun. And if we'll try and do the same for round 14, and give people plenty of notices for that as well. But looking forward then to round 8. Start off with Matt versus Mike. And I think I would go Mike.
I've got such poor
Just
odds.
because I think, yeah, I think Matt had such Orc PTSD as well. That,
Yeah, I've faced too many orcs.
I think it's a tough match for humans as well.
It is.
I think coming back from James's though match, you're going to have if you were down a few players, they'll have either come back in, or you would have gotten some level ups. I think.
Yeah.
Essentially, so you might actually just be level wise higher up, but you might be fine.
Yeah, I think
It's certainly going to be tough.
I think I'm going to end bottom of Division 1. That's where I think I'm going to be at the end of this.
Then Thomas versus James in one of the sort of classic clash of styles, Orcs versus Skaven. I think Thomas goes in as quite strong favourite. He's got experience playing against Skaven. He's got
And
a
as
monstrous Orc
Skaven.
team. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I meant to say. Yeah.
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 It could be
Tough
a
one,
high
but-
scoring game, that one.
Yeah, I like these sort of games. I like the completely different style games.
Hmm.
I think my brain has to start wearing away to decide what was going to happen.
Then after that, we've got myself versus Kate.
Well,
I think it's just going to be Euan. Elves
I don't know.
outposts. Or...
I think what's going to happen is because like Tom will have no skinks for his next match. So all he's going to do is he's just going to beat up Euan. He's not going to even try the ball because he can't with only 6 Saurus. So therefore, Euan will have no players for Kate's game, and Euan will lose to Kate.
There is a very real possibility I just run out of players at some point, but
I mean, that was my
Your
sort of
Elves.
prediction from the beginning, was that you'd end up with so few players. But I mean, so far you're way out ahead. I don't know if you've got any problem.
Yeah, I think you're definitely coming back. I think you just need to like touch wood, or actually don't touch wood tonight,
Touch wood,
because I will tonight. But you're regaining them slowly but surely. I think now that you got the 2 war dances, it's quite good.
just got to avoid playing Lachlan again somehow. Maybe just forfeit that one tactically.
And don't leap at all. Don't leap, because that's how all war dancers die.
Got David versus Tom Pope.
I think it's going to be quite even again.
Yeah, I think that looks like a draw. Especially with Tom Pope at home, or more precisely, David not at home.
I think the David tackle is quite grim for that.
It's tackle, but there is a big speed advantage on the Lizardman side.
Yeah,
which can be really tough for dwarves as well.
Double the movement of all his dwarves.
So David's defense has got to be pretty spot on the whole game, because if he can do that, then it makes life really, really hard for the Skinks to break out. But if the Skinks do break out, David's never catching it. So yeah, I think that's either 1-1 draw or 2-1 to Tom Pope.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that David knows Tom Pope quite well, and so therefore I think he'll be able to sort of play a meta game. And
just taunt him the whole match, make him as angry as possible, and then he can't play.
yeah, basically destroy his team. There will be at least 2 skink deaths in the death roller. That's my prediction.
I forget the death roller every time.
But can you imagine the death roller running over those skinks and just?
I know.
I don't think the death roller will get to the Skinks. Yeah, I think
destroy the
Saurus. But the way that Tom Pope plays, he plays a high risk game, so the Skinks will be running up to the death roller at certain points.
The problem with Lizardmen, David and it's right in front of me. I can't read. David and Tom's game is that he can't just put linemen at the front. Both Saurus and Skinks are really valuable. So either 3 Saurus get absolutely wrecked by Death Roller, or 3 Skinks are just dead feather. And they're both so integral. I'm going to say David wins that.
Then the last one in round 8, we have Lachlan versus Gummer. Norse versus Nurgle is probably the most aggressive team versus the most defensive in the Bashy team stakes. That is a real.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for Gummer, just because I think that might be the game where disgusting appearance. Yeah, I think Gummer will be have a bunch of experience by then, in terms of leveled up players. B, I think the disgusting appearance, potentially stopping blocks, coming in at a big time might really mess with some of Lachlan's plans.
Yeah, like one of his deadly traps.
Yeah, that happened a lot in our game, and it was so annoying. I forgot how annoying that is.
And then Lachlan's if that happens to one of Lachlan's players, and then getting punched back by a Nurgle player could mean that he can really start losing the attrition war. And it's hard to accelerate past Nurgle with the throwing game as well. So yeah, I think 1-0 to Gummer there.
I'm going to say draw for this one. I think... yeah, I am. I'm going to say draw.
I think Lachlan will win it.
Very different, very different opinions this podcast.
I like that though.
Yeah.
I want to play draw.
Yeah. If you could do a different result to win, lose, or draw, it would really help keep this different opinion thing going.
So one's going to concede.
yeah.
One's going to concede.
Yeah. There's a fourth.
Like, the thing is, I've not seen any of his matches, Gummer. So, well, I'll find out when next week. How good he is or not. But I reckon, from what I've heard, he's pretty good, and it's two good players really sort of getting down and into the nitty gritty, and I reckon it'll end up being a draw.
Oh, you ruined it. You ruined it, David. Right, I'll fix it. Lachlan punches the beast in Nurgle, kills it with a Yeti, and then Gummer he rage quits and says he's had enough.
And then he rage quits so hard. In round 9, now you have an automatic win.
Absolutely.
So yeah, round 9, Matt versus Gummer.
He's lost to beast in Nurgle. He doesn't want to play in the league anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If that doesn't happen though, I think.
I think Gummer wins.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, I think.
It's the
Gummer,
tentacles are really good.
Tentacles, like Gummer's got a punching advantage, and Matt's way around that are like dodging past things, which the beast of Nurgle can stop.
I guess Ogre.
Or he's got a throwing game, which Nurgle also interferes with. So yeah, I think that's a win for Gummer.
Yeah, I think Nurgle's got a strong advantage against humans though.
It's grim because even if you don't want to put your Ogre on the line, he can literally just trap 3 linemen for the whole game. Like the Nurgle doesn't have to move at all.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
I'm just going to recap the games that you said I would lose, which is all of them, except for the one against Kate, which I think was a tie from some of you. But yeah, pretty much.
It's humans. I'm
sorry.
I
know. I actually agree. I mean, I'd be really happy if I can sort of throw that off and win a couple along the way. I'm hoping now.
It's like when I was playing Vamps, Matt.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping for 4 wins in a row now. That will really.
And at home, yeah.
But yeah. That's absolutely fine. Your predictions are your predictions.
Yeah, we're not fixing the league or anything here. Being like, well, yeah, Matt's not allowed to win any of these games.
Matt, you're not following the script.
David,
the podcast isn't working.
Give him the chair.
So we've got Thomas versus Mike.
I'm actually scared for this game.
Yeah, I think it'll be a tie.
Yeah, I think tie's a very good shout.
I think it would just be a complete deadlock. I think it'll be hitting. Unless one person somehow gets...
The +1 strength is so big. It is so big.
It is.
And yeah.
I think
Mike... I'm just going to go...
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Mike, don't listen to this. Do the exact opposite of what I'm going to do, right? Like, you're not allowed to listen to this podcast. I am just going to be just guarding. Everyone is going to get guard on all my next level ups because I just have to win the punch. Like I have to go full punch, and I think everyone has guard now. I just give up on giving people block.
Yeah, I think
Mike, don't do that.
I think Mike goes in with the slight team advantage with that strength 5 player, but Thomas is an experience advantage. So yeah, I think that's a 1-1, a 1-1 or possibly even a 0-0 game.
0-0. I reckon
0-0.
Complete deadlock.
I think people are going to score. I think there is going to be
unless someone buys Hobgoblin or is it a Hobgoblin? What's the little?
It's just a goblin.
Yeah.
I might even sell my lineman. I might sell my lineman for that game. Oh my god, there's so much to think about.
Speaking of the one solitary game where a 0-0 result seems the
Very
least
unlikely.
likely, we have Wood Elves versus Skaven in the only Ruddy v Ruddy matchup in the whole season.
I'm looking forward to it, man.
You can still get beaten up by a rogue.
Oh yeah, this is the sort of game that because there's 2 Ruddy teams, they kind of just be like, "Ooh, we can actually win a punching war," and just get caught up in that and don't actually run it. But
Yeah.
I,
I'm quite excited for this. I'd like to watch that
Yeah.
one. I'd really like to watch that one.
I'm excited for this because I might not get punched in the face for 16 turns in a row.
Raturger.
Not yeah. That's one player, not the whole team.
Yeah, I reckon. I do think you've probably got the edge there, and I think that's just a question of experience and history, and Wood Elf being the most powerful team. Not the most powerful, maybe they are. I don't know, but yeah, I think you've probably got the edge there. I would like James to win it, because obviously it helps me in Division 1. But I do think that you'd have the edge.
I'm gonna say if you have your full team back, you'll win. But if not, I'm gonna say James is gonna win.
I'd be doing well to have my full team back by then. I'd have to roll some decent gold.
Or if James, I think if James loses a person, I think it could go either way. But if you don't get all your boys back, say James is gonna win.
That might be the one game where there could be a losing player that scores his 3 and gets 2 bonus.
Yeah.
So we're hoping for a 4-3 finish there.
I hope so. That would be great to play at one of those.
Because you'd win and get 3, so you'd still get your massive 5 points.
I mean, I just don't want to be punched for 16 turns in a row, and there's a chance that might still happen. But we've got David v Kate as the penultimate game in that round. I think it's a way for David. We agreed all the Div 1v2 things will be away for the Div 1 teams that've gone that. So the Death Roller could be really big in that one, messing with Kate's team.
I mean, Kate needs to score early and then it evens it out. But doing that as Orcs is quite hard, yeah. Against Dwarves as well, they just go, nope, I'll stand here.
Yeah.
I'd say David.
I'd say David, unless his Juggernaut or his Death Roller has gotten killed by then somehow.
No, please no.
I
don't get that bad luck.
The Yeti just punches it and it just goes through with claws.
No, it'll be no doubt be a going for it roll, and he just dies.
I'm going for it with a Death Roller.
He's flattened by his own Death Roller. Oh no.
You give it leap and just see what happens.
I really want to see that animation.
Yeah, I just thought about that. My brain just went, oh my god.
And final one of the round, we have Lachlan versus Tom Pope. I really struggle to call this one. Again, with Elizabeth, it's one of those. Can they break through to the skinks where the Norse will just cause carnage against them? But it's hard for them to get past that many Saurus easily. So
yeah, I still think that when you're playing a Lizardman team, it depends how well you can protect your skinks if you're playing that kind of a game. And from what I've seen of Tom's play, Tom Pope, this is, I think he plays a very risky game, and so I think he'll happily leave his skinks in the open and stuff like that.
Try and slipping through.
Yeah, so I think Lachlan will have every opportunity to be able to hit them, especially with Frenzy. You know, he can Frenzy his way, open a gap, and then blitz someone through something.
Yeah, I think the Frenzy might throw him off a bit, because it's only me and Lachlan that have it at the moment, and he'll have basically 2 games in a row with Frenzy, just suddenly out of nowhere.
Maybe he'll learn.
I think Lachlan's Frenzy as well, I think, is a lot more powerful than David's.
Yeah.
Because of the speed difference, meaning that it's easier to take advantage of. Whereas David's, it tends to be a dwarf player in the middle of a melee. Whereas Lachlan can, blitz someone out into a flank much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say Lachlan probably wins that, although it could be a high-scoring one, I'd say. I say high-scoring, 2-1, maybe.
2-1 is very high scoring by this league standards.
Could be a 3-1 or a 3-2.
I'd be surprised at 3-2. 3-1 could be a result if like a bunch of people get injured on one side, then the teams to score 3 times. But yeah, I like your 2-1 prediction.
Yeah, 2-1's most likely, I think.
I'm going to predict 2-1, but also predict it's a draw.
So is that a 3-3 draw? They both get 2-1.
I think it's going to be 2-1, and someone's going to fail the play to equalise in the last turn. That type of thing. Yeah. Someone's going to roll the dreaded 1 when going for it in the last turn with no rerolls left.
Yeah, I just realised that I seem to have had a lot of those this season as well. Like last minute fails where I've had opportunities to score and then not been able to dodge or fail. It's just humans.
I felt that a lot last season, and I felt the opposite this season. To be fair, I've scored a lot of times in the last time I did it against you. I did it against Lachlan. I did it very early, kind of in a crazy play against Thomas. Yeah, I've had a lot of late scores and only had the one late one against me, which was Mike when I had no one left on the pitch, pretty much. We just had to run down the field. But yeah, it's funny, and it's frustrating when it's going against you, and it's brilliant when it goes for you.
Yeah.
Like I remember our first game last season in the Necromantic v Chaos game, where I actually started off really well. Then you came back incredibly hard around the 4 turns either side of halfway, and you just smashed my team to pieces. And then I had that crazy thing to score in 2 turns as Chaos with 5 players against your Necromantic team. It was pretty much full strength.
Yeah.
And I still feel the sort of joy of that moment. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely
5 months later.
I killed one of your players, and I got an additional zombie, but I did lose the match.
Yeah, that was the highlight of that team's season. They didn't do particularly well after, but
yeah. Whereas I did quite well with Necromantic.
Yeah, got all the...
But unfortunately, did not win.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite an interesting sort of side discussion of who's been the most successful player in the league since its existence, because you can make arguments for you for being in the final the most times, Tom Clark for having topped the league twice and won the most recent one. You make the argument for Thomas for having the best playoff record overall. He's only lost 1 out of 5 or 6 or something. Or you can make the argument for me without being arrogant. Is I've won the league the most time, albeit I view season 1 as a very very different beast to the other seasons. In a lot of ways. And then it's an interesting theoretical discussion. And then you got people like David and Lachlan who I don't think either of you two have made the final yet, but it always feels like you could. And I think Lachlan very much is in contention this season. I think Lachlan, he might not finish in the top 2 necessarily, but I think he will be one of the finalists.
I mean, I've not made the playoffs.
I actually want Lachlan to finish in the top 2. I feel like he deserves to be there.
I think if he gets to the top 2, then he should win.
I think the thing is the final thing is the final meta is so like dependent on you and your opponent that you could be the best player, and then if you've got an unfavorable matchup at the end, it's tough. But yeah,
I just said.
I'm surprised
I
you
just
never got.
realised this.
No, you got to one. You got to one playoff, David. You got to the. You got to two. You got the. You did it with your Skaven, and you. Yeah, you did the season 3 one when you were Kemery.
Yes, Kemery did. Which did not deserve to be as good as they were.
Oh yeah, you got like 2 agility ups or something, didn't you? Like,
Oh yeah,
That was insane.
it was like the 2 players that needed the agility got the agility, and then they kept making insane interception.
I remember
plays.
making that pass as my Wood Elf team, and then you're like,
was it my money or something? He just like grabbed it out of the air.
What?
It's just like,
Just
it's mine now.
That was the first agility up you got as well. It was off the back of that experience.
Well, I still remember I think it was our round 2 or 3 game or something, and I was still getting used to what Underworlds could do. And as Kemery, you beat me 4-0. And I'm pretty sure there are times as Kemery where you just couldn't score 4-0 if the opponent didn't have any players on the field at all.
Yeah.
Because they're that slow and they're that rubbish at passing, and you beat me 4-0.
It's so simple. You've got 4 turns, score a touchdown.
David, you've done what I
It was-
can only see as impossible. Beat Euan.
I mean, I was going to say, everyone else, apart from James, who's been in this for, that isn't new this season's done it. Thomas has beaten me twice, 3 times? 3 times. Twice as Lizardman, once as Skaven. David's beaten me, obviously that time. You beat me in season 1. Probably should have been twice, but it was only once. Lachlan beat me twice last season, and I can't remember season 3 results. Season 3, I think it was a draw and a win for me. And season 2, he beat me. He beat my Chaos Dwarf team, which is the only game that Chaos Dwarf team has ever lost. Kate beat me the last game of last season. James hasn't managed to beat me yet, but yeah, nice to have an unbeaten record against Matt.
I don't know why, and I never would have even noticed it if Tom Clark hadn't pointed it out that time. Now it's built up as this thing in my head, and I just can't do it.
just a mental block there.
I mean, I was bowling your team left, right, and centre when we played last, but it didn't make a difference.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, as we said, the fouling was what probably cost you the game. There. That was the
I'm trying
problem.
to beat you up.
You're saving up for a final, Matt. There's a.
Oh yeah, that would be excellent. Actually, if I made it to the final and it was against you again, and I actually won, that would be great.
Humans having their comeback.
Yeah, I mean,
Get 3 strength 4 humans, and you're just like, oh my god.
that would be excellent. Yeah, strength 4 blitzer humans with dodge and strip ball, leap, sidestep.
Yeah, chill out a second. Right, the strength is enough.
It'd be unstoppable. I get some. What's the special player called? Oberwald. Is he Griff Oberwald? He'd be good. Get 5 of him on my team.
I've never seen.
5 of
Yeah. Like, just create him by mistake using 4 catches, and then I'll buy him because I'll still be somehow lower on TV.
I mean, my Wood Elf team keeps giving up inducement money left, right, and centre because I keep having to buy linemen and pay extra for the privilege of them having loner, which is somewhat frustrating.
I'm quite
But
happy.
It's a premium skill,
happy
that.
about it, but even so, I mean, I'm pleased I managed to kill one of your players.
I think it's 20k for the privilege of having loner, which meant in the last game, I gave Gummer 60k in inducement money just on that alone. The 3 players
He
with
got a
loader,
Bloodlines.
plus the tree mid as well.
Did he
Yeah,
get
I think he got a Bloodwiser Babe. I don't think he'd buy anything else because otherwise the teams were pretty even on TV.
It's really what
Which
you
ended up
need.
being completely useless
Yeah.
against Elves. But
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're Elves, aren't you? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not what you need in this league. I was like, yeah, I could have bought something else.
yeah,
And you
I quite most of my games against. I think both of my games against Orcs, I've made as many passes as I've done armor breaks.
as many passes as armor
Which
breaks,
is-
as in breaks on yourself?
So I've broken the Orc players either 2 or 3 times
Right.
their armor, and I've done 2 or 3
Right.
passes
Okay,
in those
yeah.
games. And I think it's fair to say that the opposite has not been true from the Orcs sector.
No.
I've made like one dump off, not dump off. Yeah, dump off.
You have done.
Hand
That's
off.
about it. Hand off.
Hand-
That's the word. Yeah.
Jump off is the
It's a special
starts
skill.
it starts on the Dark Elf runners.
That is my
Um,
favourite skill.
It didn't matter, but every time I played against your vampires, David, last season, and you had it, it was really annoying.
Oh
It-
yeah.
The
It won
problem
me
is
the
then
game against David. This thing.
the problem is that you a vampire, so just had to wait another turn, and your player would run
Yeah.
off the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, aha! I passed the ball to my player. Oh wait,
Yeah.
he's not near a thrall. He's
Yeah.
going by.
It's somewhat crazy that vampires they've only ever completed 1 season, but in terms of like time selected, they're one. I think they're
Three,
the
yeah,
second most popular team behind Orcs.
Oh my god. Like,
Lizards.
No, I think
Yeah,
Lizardmen.
Skaven.
Lizardmen. Orcs. Oh yeah, I think they're tied with Skaven, aren't they?
yeah, Skaven being picked 3 times.
Skaven are 4 times.
Uh,
Because James has been them twice and Matt was them once
Yeah.
in season 1.
I was them.
Beast Skaven.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
Season-
Skaven. But I enjoyed the Skaven. They're
That
always
season-
a fun team to play.
Yeah. Season 2. Yeah. David had a great season with them.
Skaven, Lizardmen, Orcs, definitely. Wood Elves have been picked
Yeah.
twice now, I think, or 3 times.
Yeah.
Twice.
Twice.
So, and vampires have come up 3 times. That's interesting, isn't it? Vampires more than
Yeah.
Wood Elves. You'd expect that to be the other way around.
Well, more than
yeah.
dwarves and any of the undead teams.
Yeah, or Nurgle, or
2 Nurgle, 1 High Elf, 1 Bretonian,
more than humans.
2 Chaos, 2 Norse, both Lachlan,
Chaos
1 or
Dwarves.
2 undead, 1 Chaos Dwarf.
Yeah, so more than loads actually.
Yeah.
They are somehow appealing.
Yes.
I don't know why.
I think it's the massive reward.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the strength 4 and agility 4 and cage breaking skill is like
Insane.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
if you're good at avoiding ones,
that's your team.
Yeah.
Next time I install Cheat Engine for Blood Bowl, I'll pick him.
How are you rolling so well?
I'm just rolling 2s. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Just
And
don't
you
roll
load
one. It's
the
fine.
dice
It's all good.
Yeah, you look at the dice at the end and they're all 2s. Every single dice rolls a 2.
Man, that'd be mad.
should we start wrapping up there? Is there anything
Yeah.
else they want to say?
May the Orc Mighty Blow Alliance continue on. No one falter except for me, who'll be choosing just guard. So,
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, hopefully I get
yeah?
some. Hopefully I get some skills that really make a difference to my team. That's what I'm counting on.
I'm hoping on more injuries, more points,
Yeah.
level up.
Yeah, upgrade the Death Roller.
Get a stupidly powerful death roller.
Can you
Get
even
the-
upgrade the Death Roller?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you just roll for extra strength? That's nothing.
What strength did the death roll start with?
7, I think.
11.
It might be 8.
I think it's
And
7.
what's-
That you have to be
Does
surrounded by like
Does it
5
have
people
strength
on
access?
1 die.
Yeah.
That'll be its only thing that's not a double.
Oh,
sure.
so you don't think it'll even have?
So
Yeah, it'll just be just strength.
yeah, so guard or stand firm or mighty blow or possibly juggernaut are the
Yeah,
the easy
Juggernaut would be like one of the ones to go for. Very cool.
But yeah, a leap sounds even better.
Definitely.
I just watched the animation. Not gonna lie, slightly disappointed.
What death roll a leap?
Is it
Yeah, the death roll
just up and down?
is just kind of up and down.
Yeah.
No one expects it.
Well, no, like the Minotaurs and stuff, they actually have like animations. Like the Beast of Nurgle had more of an animation than Death Roller. Quite sad.
Fair enough. We'll call it there, gentlemen. Lovely hanging
Very
out
good.
with you all.
Yes.
Lovely speaking to you.
Remember to all shout at Matt for being an hour behind schedule.
That's
Will do.
mostly
Every
Discord's fault.
That is. That is
Mostly.
entirely unfair to pick on Matt
Also,
for that.
you've
but
all just
we're going to do it
spent
anyway.
Whatever long this time has been, basically saying Matt's going to lose that game. Matt's going to lose that game.
You just have to sit through
And
it.
now at the end, you're like, oh, and shout it back.
We say that they're going to lose because they're human. Like if you look at like most of the previous things where you've not been human, we've been predicting you to win.
I know. I really liked after the first podcast as well, where there was the YouTube video and everything at the end was like, yeah, we predict that Matt will be in last place in Division 1. Yeah, that's fine. I actually do agree with that. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should be like, no, I'm going to be first. But then I'm just setting myself up for disappointment.
I think. No, I did have you at bottom. I was going to say I think I had David as last.
No, you did. Yeah, I think David would pay a lot higher.
Yeah.
I think David has had some unlucky games, haven't you, David?
I did. I certainly, I said at the beginning, it's starting off very, very difficult. Losing a player in that first match against you, Euan.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, I'd be fine in doing a no death thing for the rest of the league. But...
No.
No.
But yeah, lovely speaking with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
See you all on.
See you.
Ciao for now.